Do you dream of biting into a juicy, sun-ripened tomato that you grew yourself? Starting a vegetable garden is not only a rewarding experience, but also a delicious and healthy way to feed your family. So why wait? Let's dig in and get started. Step 1 in planning your garden is deciding what you need to grow. Well, duh. It's easy to get caught up in buying all the seeds you see in the catalogs and store displays. Your friend talks about planting 10 eggplants in a bed full of rutabagas that produced a lot of food last year, so you think maybe you should put in eggplants and rutabagas. Do you and your family even like eggplants and rutabagas? Sit down and make a list of the fruits and vegetables you love to eat. Welcome to the old Mayfield place. I'm Snow, the farmer's wife. In this series, we will be going step by step through how to plan your homestead garden and how to preserve the food you grow so you can provide yourself and your family with nutritious, homegrown food even when it's available at your grocery store. Or if it's not. Step 2. Consider how much each vegetable you and your family will eat each season. Do you plan to preserve food to eat after the growing season is over? If so, consider how much you will need to preserve for the whole year. Have you preserved this food in the past? How much of it do you have left over? If you don't have any left over, when did you run out? Having the answers to these questions will help you decide how much to grow this year. If you eat green beans once a week and you want to can or freeze green beans to have them all year long, but you ran out in December and had to buy beans at the store, you will probably want to grow more this year than you did last year. So if you started harvesting in June, preserved them, but ran out before the end of December, you only put up about 6 months of beans last year. Consider planting twice as much this year as you did last so you don't run out. If you still have enough beans preserved to get you through this year, you may want to skip planting them this season or plant only enough for fresh eating but not preserving. Go through your entire list of vegetables that you and your family like to eat and ask yourself these questions. How often do you like to eat them? If you plan to preserve them, do you need to plant more or less than last year? Are the vegetables you want to grow and preserve worth the space and effort it takes to grow them? I love peas, but to have enough peas to preserve takes so much space in the garden and a lot of my time to shell them. And the farmer will eat peas, but he's not crazy about them. So I've decided as long as they are available frozen at the store, I probably won't be growing them in my garden. But we like tomatoes, green beans, onions, garlic, potatoes, carrots, beets, cucumbers, and okra. And I can preserve these in one form or another, so I'm concentrating on these vegetables this year. Choose the vegetables that you and your family like to eat and decide how much you need to grow. Step number 3. Choose varieties of your favorite vegetables that grow well in your area. To determine this, you need to know your first and last frost dates. This is the length of your growing season. You also need to know the average highs and lows during that time. Some veggies will not grow if it gets too hot during the day, and some don't like it if it gets too cool at night. Understanding what each vegetable prefers will give you the best yield from your garden. Often you can find a variety of the plant you want to grow that is best suited for your area. Not all tomato varieties have the same plant to harvest time, and if your growing season is short, you may not get much harvest unless you plant a lot of a longer season tomato variety. Okra really likes the heat and doesn't usually grow well in the northern climates. Cucumbers and melons need a lot of water, so if you live in a more arid area, they may not do well for you. Research what does well in your area. Find a seasoned gardener that lives near you and pick their brain. Ask what types of vegetables grow well and what varieties grow best where you live. Find seed companies that sell seeds that were grown in your area. This may take a bit of research because some companies source their seeds from all over the country, not just locally. Just because a seed is sold at the local farm store doesn't mean it was produced in your area. Go to seed swaps in your town. Gardeners that save seeds do so from plants that have been acclimated to your area, and these plants are more likely to grow well for you. For this reason, you need to consider saving seeds from your plants that you really liked this year to plant again next year. Seed saving not only saves you money, but you get to grow the varieties that you like year after year from seed that is used to the exact climate at your house. Buy plants from local nurseries. Again, they will be growing plants that have proven themselves in your area. Step 4. Determine how much time you have to take care of a garden. If you are new to gardening but want to start preserving enough food to supply your family for 6 months to a year, pick 1 or 2 vegetables to start with. Don't overwhelm yourself with growing all the things because the garden will get away from you and then you will just get frustrated and give up. You don't have to do it all in one year. If you use a lot of tomatoes to make soups and spaghetti sauce, grow tomatoes this year to preserve and use year-round. Maybe grow enough green beans to preserve 6 months' worth. And plant 1 or 2 melons for fresh eating. I also like to plant 1 or 2 plants of a vegetable that I've never eaten before as an experiment. Who knows, you may find your new favorite. But start with what you can comfortably take care of. Our garden is 5,000 square feet. But when I was working full-time, I didn't have time to take care of this much space. We grew a few tomato plants, green beans, and potatoes, but it only took up about 150 square feet. That was all I had time to care for. So I bought bulk green beans and tomatoes from the local farmer's market to preserve. Which brings me to step 5. Purchase from a local farmer's market. If you love to preserve food but don't have time to take care of a big garden, find a farmer's market in your area to buy the produce you want to preserve without having to do all the garden work yourself. You get great food, the farmer makes a profit on his or her labors, and you don't have to take care of the garden while working a full-time job and caring for your home. Everyone wins. If you still want to grow a garden, we've come to step number 6. Consider the space you need to grow the vegetables you have chosen. Some plants will take more space to grow a year's worth of food than others. Root vegetables will give you 1 vegetable per seed. So beets, onions, carrots, and turnips take up more space to grow enough to harvest a year's worth. Plants that you eat the fruit from, such as tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, green beans, and melons, will give you multiple fruits per plant and take up less space, especially if you train them to grow on a trellis. How much growing space do you have? So before buying all those seeds, you need to ask yourself, what does my family love to eat? Do I want enough to preserve, or do I just want to grow what we will eat fresh? What variety of those plants will grow well in my area? How much time do I have? Can I purchase this from a farmer's market? How much space do I have? Thank you for stopping by the old Mayfield place today. Stay healthy, do your research, and have a blessed week.